15th December 2021, Haryana's Panipat. A middle-aged man named Vinod Bharara was shot dead inside his own house. Police identified the killer as Dev Sunar, with whom Vinod had some past rifts. Dev was immediately convicted and the case was closed. But 2 years later, in 2025, police received a WhatsApp message which led to the reopening of the case. The reinvestigation revealed that Dev was just a pawn and someone from the family was calling the shots. This case will make you question the societal notions of trust, loyalty and morality. Now, without any delays, let's dive into the full case study. I'm Sam and you're watching Crime Stories by Sam. Vinod Bharara of Panipat was a small but successful businessman who ran his own computer training center. He was an active social worker too, who took part in various social drives like feeding the poor, educating the underprivileged kids, etc. Due to all this, he was quite famous and respected in and around the town. On personal side of things, he belonged to a joint family where all the family members were strongly attached to each other. He had a loving wife named Nidhi and 2 kids. In fact, many considered him to be an ideal man of the society. However, on 5th October 2021, something happened that altered the course of everyone's life. Vinod was sitting on a chair in front of his training center, and out of nowhere, a speeding pickup truck rammed over him and fled the area. Even though Vinod suffered some fatal injuries, doctors were still able to save him, but both his legs got fractured. Thus, he got confined to his bed for the following few months. Police arrested the accused truck driver named Dev Sunar, aka Deepak, who stated brake failure to be the reason behind the accident. However, being just a hit-and-run case, he easily got a bail. Slowly, things got back to normal, but not for very long. 15 December 2021, 2 months and 10 days after the accident. Vinod was resting in his bedroom while her wife Nidhi was busy in the kitchen. An unidentified gunman entered the house through the main door. He walked straight into Vinod's room and opened fire at him. Hearing the gunshots and Vinod's scream, Nidhi rushed to his room, but the door was locked from inside. Nidhi screamed for help, listening to which the neighbors came in. But even after trying their best, they couldn't break open the door. Through an open window, they saw the killer first drag Vinod down the bed and then shoot him twice, first at his waist, then at his head. He then opened the door and tried to flee by threatening everyone with his gun. But the neighbors not only caught him but tied him to a tree and beat him black and blue before finally handing him over to the police. But unfortunately, due to being shot in the head, Vinod couldn't survive. One of the creepy things witnessed by the neighbors was that while the killer was being beaten up, he was smiling and telling everyone that he had fulfilled his goal and is no longer scared of death. Police identified the killer as the same Dev Sunar, the accused driver of Vinod's hit-and-run case. He confessed that he apologized and requested multiple times to Vinod to take back the hit-and-run case, but Vinod was adamant about getting him behind the bars. Thus, in a fit of rage, he shot him dead. As it was an open and shut case, Dev got convicted in the court and was sent to the prison, and the case was closed. 2024, 2 years later. IPS officer Ajit Singh Shekhawat got posted as the new SP of Panipat Police. He had a reputation of being honest and fearless. Few days after his posting, out of nowhere, he received a WhatsApp message from Australia stating that Dev is just a pawn and the true killer of Vinod Bharara case is someone from the family. This message came from Vinod's brother Pramod, who lived in Australia. After getting this hint, Officer Ajit started studying the case files and found a big loophole in them. As per him, Indian laws aren't very strict against hit-and-run cases. Thus, after initial trials, Dev could have easily gotten out of the case. Thus, a hit-and-run case doesn't make a solid ground for murdering someone, and there is definitely more to the case than what has been thought. To avoid alerting the real suspects, Officer Ajit asked Officer Deepak Kumar to investigate the case secretly and to report directly to him. For a start, police examined Dev Sunar's bank statement and call records for any abnormal patterns and found that on the days around the day of accident and the murder of Vinod, Dev received multiple calls from a man named Sumit. Police later found out that Sumit was a gym trainer and ran a supplement shop. While cross-checking with the case files, it got revealed that Sumit is the man who got Dev out on bail during the hit-and-run case. But this wasn't all. An even more shocking revelation was about to happen. While examining Sumit's bank statements and call records, police found out that there was someone with whom he had elaborate calls and even received money in amounts of lakhs. That someone was Vinod's wife Nidhi. As police had enough evidences against Nidhi and Sumit, they called both of them for interrogation. And as expected, they both rejected all the accusations. But then, police showed them 3 small details in the murder's day CCTV footage that went completely under the radar in the previous investigation. First, the main door of the house was purposefully kept open for Dev to get inside easily. Second, after entering the house, Dev and Nidhi both saw each other and exchanged some hand signals. Third and the last, after hearing the gunshots, Nidhi ran towards the door of Vinod's room but didn't try much to open it. After seeing this footage, both of them started to disclose the truth. The relationship between Vinod and Nidhi had always been great. No rifts, no arguments, and full of love. As a daughter-in-law too, she had a great bond with Vinod's family. Be it family functions, pujas, or get-togethers, she was always present. Even as a mother, she was doing great. Both the kids loved her a lot. She was an ideal wife, mother, and daughter-in-law. Vinod's business was doing great too. Thus, there weren't any financial issues. Therefore, nobody could even imagine their downfall. But it did start, and that too in the most unimaginable way. In 2021, Nidhi joined a gym to get fit. There she met Sumit, who worked as a personal trainer, and Nidhi too took his services. With the passage of time, they got closer to each other and finally fell in love. Sumit was aware that Nidhi is married and had kids, but his eyes were on Vinod's money. Nidhi's behavior started to change. She would talk for hours on the phone with Sumit and would delete the complete call history of her phone before Vinod returned from work. One day Vinod too noticed the empty call log of Nidhi and got suspicious. Then few days later, he caught the romantic chats between Nidhi and Sumit on Facebook Messenger. He confronted Nidhi and they had a huge argument. However, for the sake of kids, he didn't disclose about this affair to the family members and decided to give Nidhi another chance. But Nidhi wasn't worth it. She made a plan to get Vinod out of her way, which in turn would make her entitled to Vinod's hefty life insurance claim, along with his share in property, which she would use to live a lavish life with lover Sumit. As per the initial plan, Nidhi hired Dev Sunar to kill Vinod in a hit-and-run setup and promised him a sum of rupees 10 lakhs and all the legal expenses to get him out of the case. Nidhi even purchased a brand new pickup truck for this exact purpose. She provided Dev with all the location and movement details of Vinod, and as you all know, on 5th October 2021, they executed their hit-and-run plan. But fortunately, Vinod survived. As their goal was still unfulfilled, thus they made a new plan of revenge killing. Nidhi and Sumit supplied Dev with a gun and provided him with all the necessary support to execute the plan. And as you already know, they were very successful this time. One question that still remains is how come Vinod Bharara, who lives far away in Australia, got the hint of all this. Firstly, after the death of Vinod, Nidhi got shifted to a new home with the kids and her father-in-law. A new place gave her the freedom to meet Sumit without any suspicions from the neighbors. Secondly, after she received the life insurance money of Vinod, she got even more greedy and started diverting funds from her father-in-law's account to her own account. Lastly, a couple of months later, she sent the kids and her father-in-law to Australia to live with Pramod, and immediately after, she and Sumit went for a holiday to Manali. Pramod was getting all this info from his Indian sources and he got suspicious. His doubts became real in March 2024 when, during the hearing of Vinod's case, Nidhi denied to recognize Dev Sunar in the courtroom, further solidifying her probable role in the murder of Vinod. From there on, Pramod sought a reinvestigation of the case, but seeing the incompetence of the existing investigation team, he waited for the right opportunity, and it came with the posting of IPS officer Ajit Singh Shekhawat as the new SP of Panipat. Currently, Nidhi and Sumit are in police custody and legal proceedings are going on. A departmental inquiry is also being done on the previous investigating team for the lapses in their investigation. Sometimes life puts us in situations where the thrill of the wrong path feels way better than the right one. It's very easy to get slipped off in such situations. However, once we go down the rabbit hole, there's no climbing back. Nidhi did get a second chance to make things right, but still chose an extramarital affair with no legitimacy over a happy and secured life just for the thrills, and now she'll have to spend the rest of her life in the jail. The biggest collateral damage were the two kids who lost both their parents and will grow up with the tag of being criminals' children. So this was all about Vinod Bharara's murder case. Hope this video helps you in keeping you and your loved ones safe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.